Welcome to Murder of Mayhem
with
Justin
and Amanda. Good evening, folks.
Good evening. The guy that we're going to talk about tonight, his name's Michael Cummins. You might have heard of him. He's from Westmoreland, Tennessee. It's in Sumner County.
Sumner County.
One of the worst and most grisly murders that we've had in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
There were 8 people killed total within a few days.
Throughout his life, he was quite the troublemaker.
Yeah. It's not really too much information about his early life. It just basically starts in his late teens from what I read.
Mm-hmm.
He was a pretty tumultuous guy. He had a baby at around the age of 17. He also had an order of protection taken out against him around that time too, from the girl that he had a baby with.
Why is that?
Right, exactly. He was kind of a violent guy. He was just, in general, kind of a scary guy that had a lot of weird quirks about him.
Right.
People
just the weird guy in town. Like you could kind of tell like something was off with this guy. Just
people would describe him as odd.
I'm sure. From the sounds of it, yeah.
Right.
Very odd.
The first time he got arrested that I can find was in his early 20s, around the time he was 20, I believe, or 19. It doesn't really say, but I do know it's in his early 20s, late teens. He got arrested for possession and for also violating that order of protection from his ex-girlfriend. And that was it. He actually did pretty decent until around the summer of 2013. He decided that he was going to go over to his aunt's house and get some money from her. She obviously didn't have any money to give him. He didn't take this very well.
I'm sure.
He started destroying things. He started breaking things. It was a pretty bad scene.
So like some serious psychosis stuff.
Right. I think he really went into like a manic mode or psychosis for sure.
Seems like it.
Yeah. He ended up in jail, obviously. Imagine that.
He violated his protection order. And yeah, this guy just could not stay out of shit. First and foremost,
he was in and out, man.
He was in and out. So
frequent flyer, yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about how many times he was flying in and out of jail.
Well, honestly, it doesn't really say how many times he was arrested, but I'm going to guess it's quite a few.
Yeah.
They said that...
I'm saying like over 10.
Probably well over 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
They said that he would basically steal anything that he could get his hands on, whether it be a four-wheeler or a lawnmower. Exactly.
Yeah. He's the guy out at 2 a.m. mowing his lawn, but it's turf.
Terrifying. He got arrested whenever he was in court. He actually only served 150 days in jail. It was reduced to simple assault instead.
Simple assault. Let's get the lesser charge. We'll work it out and you'll get all this probation. Right?
Exactly.
And that's what he had, right?
Yeah.
Bunch of probation.
Exactly. He didn't ever get very long sentences for a good while.
Right.
He got charged for all kinds of different things. Like I said, theft,
a lot of theft,
domestic assault,
a lot of violence.
Yeah, you name it, he's probably been charged with it.
He was just this weird guy out here stealing everything in the neighborhood. Yeah. And is Westmoreland even that big?
No, it's not very big at all.
So everybody knew everybody probably.
Small town.
So yeah, this guy was just, he was
everybody was in everybody's business, of course. Small town, come on.
Yeah.
But the next incidents that I can see was that he got charged with theft from a neighbor. Now, this neighbor, apparently, he ended up thinking that they had a problem with him. He was a very paranoid guy.
Yeah. It seems like he had, like, schizophrenia. I'm no clinical psychologist or anything. I would say he's probably paranoid schizophrenic. If I could guess his diagnosis, that would be
what was crazy was he was stealing from that neighbor.
And he thought the neighbor had beef with him before that?
Right. It was like a weird kind of circumstance. Very odd guy.
Very odd guy.
He only got probation for that. As many times as he's went in and out of jail. Yeah, he only got probation for that. And they ordered him to serve and get a mental evaluation.
Thank God.
Right. Exactly.
So, what did the mental evaluation say?
He never really got anything from the mental evaluation.
What do you mean he didn't get anything from it?
They said that he was pretty well fine, except for bipolar disorder.
Okay.
Which is weird. Bipolar people, from my experience, haven't been very violent people, for the most part, at least.
Yeah.
Just really angry.
Yeah, right. But not like kill you angry.
No, definitely not kill you angry.
I mean, I guess if it's untreated, undiagnosed, it did say that he tried to take medication too, but he was inconsistent.
Very
and
inconsistent.
Just couldn't stick with it, so he wasn't going to get any better.
Right.
He wouldn't go for the mental evaluation. One of them, at least, he kind of kept skipping over that. Yep. And wasn't that a condition of his probation at one time?
Exactly. Yes, it was.
So he completely violated probation. He violated the mental evaluation. He violated it all.
He slipped through the cracks, really.
Yeah.
He was one of those people that they really didn't pay that much attention to. They knew that he was a problem, but it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
Right.
So
the
they
weird guy,
didn't do anything for him.
The weird guy, they just like pushed him off in a corner almost, and they're like,
rehabilitation.
That's just
great. So great. So great. He was, like I said, he just slipped through the cracks. I don't think that anything could have really helped him at that point. Maybe medication, maybe some therapy. But I think that he was just kind of on that path because of the way his brain was functioning at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and untreated mental illness. I mean, he's just out there running a book.
Right, so, exactly.
You know, sounds like kind of banished him probably at this point.
Well, everybody didn't pay too much attention to him because they knew that he was a troublemaker. So I guess everybody basically just tried to steer clear of him.
Okay, I can see that, yeah.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, like odd guy, he's probably sitting at home, doing odd guy things. I don't know.
He didn't cause any kind of real trouble, like violent trouble, until around the end of 2017.
Okay.
He was getting in and out of jail for a lot of different things, but most notably was going to his mother's and demanding money.
Right. And it was a sizable amount of money, right?
Yeah, exactly. He wanted a lot of money. She didn't have it. She wasn't going to give it to him either way. I mean,
sure.
You know.
Because he was out of the house at this point, right? Like on his own doing his thing.
Right. He wasn't even allowed over at his mom's at this point.
So they had an order against him too.
Yep.
Jeez. The whole family's like, we're done with you, dude.
Yeah.
Stop asking us for money. Like, we're done.
Well, he got really mad yet again. Not a really big surprise or anything like that.
Right.
Well, he just started taking things out of the house. Literally just loading up his car.
Okay.
His mom tried to stop him. He basically pushed her out of the way. His grandma even tried to intervene, and he jerked her up by her hand, and then took her by her hair and threw her out of the way.
Damn.
This did not end well for him this time. He got domestic assault and robbery this time.
Robbery. Hell yeah. He's in there.
Woo. Thank Jesus. Hallelujah. I swear to God. It went okay for a few months.
Damn, that didn't last long.
Yeah. I mean, he's not really doing all that great most of the time, man.
He ain't got a good track record.
No, he's not got a good track record.
That's looking rough for him.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Man, they knew this guy was insane. They knew he was. They've ordered him, 2 mental evaluations, some therapy now, like, and this guy,
classes.
Like, wow, okay, so did that help?
No, it did not help at all.
Of course.
One of his neighbors, she's inside cooking, right? She's frying something up, and then all of a sudden she smells smoke. Like, not the kind of smoke that you would get from cooking a meal and burning something or something like that. Well, she goes outside to see what's going on, and he was out there lighting her house on fire. Yeah, he had taken and stuffed cardboard, anything he could find, newspapers, in between the bottom of the trailer and the subflooring.
Man, no, jet fuel.
Yeah, let's not. For setting the house on fire, he ended up getting aggravated arson.
Okay, as he should. That's pretty good, hefty sentence, right?
Well, he got 10 years for this.
Okay.
This is the part that I think everybody is
going
to be a little mad about.
Here we go again.
10-year sentence. He was out after a year.
Why? He's a violent, mentally ill. Was he in an institution at any point?
No.
He was just in jail.
Yes.
And they're like, something's real wrong with him, but like,
whatever.
Let's just let him out.
Let's give him another chance.
I mean, rehabilitation, yes, but this was hardly rehabilitation.
No. It was July of 2018 that he got this overturned. They ordered him to serve another 180 days, and then he would be out and serving the rest of it on probation.
No.
Yep.
What's he up to? Like 18 years probation at this point?
Right.
What the hell? He couldn't behave for 2 months.
Not at all.
I wonder
He
if
was
they
in and out, in and
suspended
out,
that
in and out.
first sentence or whatever. Like, what?
If they just kept
Why
him
was
in
he
there,
out?
honestly, if they just kept him in there,
Yeah.
none of this probably would have happened.
What is going on with our criminal justice system? Like, for real. What is going on? Y'all really have to take a second look at these.
Maybe listen to the guy too that's actually doing it. When they arrested him, he actually told them that when he got out of prison, he was coming back, and this time he was going to finish the job. You let that guy out after a year?
Yeah.
Do you think he's learned his lesson by then?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. So,
Rehabilitated. Okay. Here he comes again.
Yeah, rehabilitated. He's out in January of 2019. He's back on probation, state papers. Probation officer can come by whenever he wants to. He's got to check out the house. The guy's got to get a job.
Right.
Well, he seemed to do okay.
Yeah, for how long?
Till April. Yeah.
How many months?
That was, about 3 months.
This guy behaved for a total of 5 months in his whole life.
Cannot stay out of trouble
no
at all.
Shit. Goodness. Gravy.
Exactly.
That's insane. Okay.
So in April.
Let him out. Yeah. Here we go. Come on. Let's go, buddy.
So in April, this is what happened. He skipped his probation visit, and they also tried to stop at his house with no avail. This was on April 10th.
He went missing.
Basically, yes, he went missing. Now, this may seem unrelated at the moment, but they found a body on April 17th. This is a man named James Fox Dunn. Seems to be a pretty nice guy. Couldn't really find too much, but I did find that he read a lot of books. He was very interested in information and just knowing as much as he possibly could. He liked really old literature. J.R.R. Tolkien was a good one they liked. Stephen King, things like that. He just really loved reading, from what I understand. And it was one of his favorite pastimes.
So he was sitting there reading.
May have been at the time. Who knows? Nobody will know except for Michael Cummins and James Dunn. That's dead. Whenever they pulled up to the scene, they found James' body outside of his burnt cabin. Only James' head was found 30 yards away from the body.
Why?
Well, they said that it could have been cut off, but most likely, since his body had already been there for what they said was probably about 2 or 3 days, an animal could have taken it off. Yeah, it could have taken it off. Yeah, rough.
I don't like that.
But you are in the middle of Tennessee and right next to the Kentucky border.
Oh, yeah, there's like grizzly bears.
Oh,
and all that. But he was not outside. He was in a house.
Well, no, he was outside the house.
Oh, he was outside the cabin.
Yeah, they found him outside the cabin. The cabin was burnt, but I'm guessing it was just to cover up evidence. He had also stolen a couple of guns, I believe, some other items. Yeah.
Let's take things from the scene of the murder. Yeah.
Exactly.
Once again, trophies.
Exactly. So
I love these trophy guys.
So skipping out on his probation, the probation officer can't get a hold of him.
So they go get him?
Finally, they issued a warrant for his arrest.
Okay.
Like 2 weeks later.
Why?
Exactly.
Why?
So when it comes down to like violating probation,
okay,
this is what happens. Say you violate your probation, and say you're not on time. Say you don't come into probation. Say they stop by your house and you're not there, or they find something in your house and you get violated. They have to go through this violation and basically make sure that it's not something small like, hey, my car went down and I couldn't get to my job, or I couldn't get to the appointment, something like that.
Oh man, so that's a double-edged sword right there, because you're trying to show compassion for those offenders that are actually trying.
Yeah.
You know, they might have, like you said, had transportation issues or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So
in this case, it was not a good thing. If he had been found quicker after he violated probation, this may could have all been avoided for sure.
Of course.
The warrant wasn't issued until the 26th.
Okay.
So the very next day, Carlotta and her husband, Tim Meadows,
who are they?
They are relatives of David and Clara Cummins, which are Michael Cummins' parents.
Gotcha.
So they came to the house because they hadn't been able to reach them in a couple of days. Nobody's answering the phone, anybody in the house, which you'll find this house is packed full. Nobody was answering. They decided to just stop by. So when they stopped by, they went up to the door and started knocking. They couldn't get any kind of answer. So they decided to just open the door, go in.
He had barricaded the door. She popped the door with her shoulder and pushed her way as far as she could to get in. And when she seen the first victim, she ran. But I said, well, if there's anyone alive, I need to get in here and find out.
He was able to kind of describe the scene. He was also kind of traumatized by it.
Yeah, imagine so.
It was something, you know, you might see it on war scene. I mean, there was blood, there was laceration, it was just awful. It was uncanny.
There were 7 people inside of that house.
In that little trailer.
Yeah,
and we're going to post a picture of that trailer here.
6 people were found dead inside the home where his fiance and her kids were raised.
Uncle Bubba was that father figure I had growing up.
It's creepy. Especially when you look at it from the perspective of now, it really looks creepy.
Yeah,
he had a lot of problems, and they tried to help him, actually. They really did. From what I understand, his uncle, Charles Wholesale, tried pretty much the most. He would give him anything he really needed.
He always wanted to dream he'd never go that far, but he did.
The family now questions if this could have all been prevented. They claim he was brought to a mental health institution in Nashville, but was eventually turned away for not having insurance.
Try to get him on the right path to taking his medications and going to therapy like he should. None of this worked. He refused to go to therapy. He refused to go to an institution. He refused to take his medications.
His mental evaluation.
Or his mental evaluations, his anger management classes.
Any of this shit.
None of this was followed.
Man.
So Tim, looking inside the house, said that it was a bloodbath.
I don't know how to explain it the way I seen it. It's just so terrible. I don't even want to remember it, let alone talk about it.
It was probably one of the most grisly scenes ever seen. Even the officer that was over there said that it was the worst murder scene he's seen in his entire career. And he had a 40-year career.
In Sumner
County. 6 people inside the house were dead.
6 people? What happened to the 7th?
Carlotta Kleinard lost many people, including her brother and sister, but is thankful her mother, Mary Hosell, survived, but in critical condition.
They pulled my mother out, and I didn't even know who the woman was.
The victims were David Cummins, Clara Cummins, Michael's parents.
Right.
And there was Charles Hosell, which was his uncle. He had his girlfriend over too, Rachel. I'm going to try not to butcher this. It's Rachel McLaughlin. She was 43 years old. Her mother was also up there, Marcia Knuckles. She was 64 years old. She also had her daughter over there, Sapphire. Sapphire was 12 years old.
Oh, I hate these stories with the babies. I don't like the babies. It kills me.
The other person in there was Mary. Nanny. Yeah, Mary, Nanny.
Nanny was a G.
Hosell.
The oldest one in the house, and she survived.
Yeah, she was the only person that survived.
I wonder if she would just didn't lay there and play dead. Hell.
Maybe. But all these people were so badly beaten that they said that they couldn't tell if they'd been shot, stabbed, or beaten, or possibly all 3.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Whenever they found Mary, Carlotta was there. Whenever she was pulling her out from the scene, she was asking, "Who is she? I don't know her." She couldn't even recognize her own mother, guys.
Wow. What were the causes of death?
So it was blunt force trauma to the head for every single one of them.
So he just went through and just beat the hell out of his whole family.
Yeah.
7 people.
The sheriff's department said that most likely caught them asleep, and that's why nobody really fought back.
Bitch, move again.
He was carrying a hatchet and an aluminum baseball bat.
So he probably used the back end of the hatchet to...
Yeah. Might use the other end on the first guy.
This is just terrible.
Yeah, he had no bounds when it came to violence.
Obviously, he was like super violent.
He was in some kind of state of psychosis.
Blunt force trauma to the head. He is going through just accent. That is some kind of rage. Something is probably wrong with his temporal lobe, if I had to guess. Is that what it is? I guess?
Maybe. That house was such a bloodbath. It took them, I believe, 2 days to actually process that whole scene.
Ooh.
But that night, whenever they found the actual murder scene, TBI was called in. Now, Before they could even really secure the whole scene, there was another murder called in.
Okay.
Not that far away, less than a mile away. It was a lady named Cheryl Farrell. She was 69 years old.
So this was after his whole
rampage, yeah.
He killed again?
Yeah. Blunt force trauma again.
They didn't catch him right after that?
Not right after. No.
Because it took him like 2 days to process. So
they were
still out there just
rampaging. They were still just looking at the scene.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wow. So as they're looking around the scene, he's still on the city's rampage here.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So they told everyone to lock their doors.
Well, hell yeah.
And be very aware.
Yeah.
Just make sure, that you're staying inside the house, that he could be armed and dangerous, whoever this is.
Right.
They quickly narrowed the suspect list down to Michael. Michael was obviously nowhere to be found at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the very next day.
So he was man on the run.
Yeah, exactly. He was man on the run, but not very long. The very next day, they organized a manhunt.
Mm.
They found the black Forte that was in Cheryl Fairley's driveway. That's probably the reason why he murdered her.
Was for her car?
He had no other motive. With his family, he had a little bit of a motive.
Really, none of this really makes sense. So I don't feel like he even had a motive. No. It was just he was mad as fuck.
Yeah.
Straight craziness.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he had control over his body. No, honestly.
Definitely not. It doesn't seem like it. Definitely no control over his brain and the way he was acting.
Mm.
Well,
so they got him, right?
Finally, yeah. That black Forte was found in a creek bed. Further up the creek bed, they did find him. Now,
was he doing, just living off the creek?
No, he was walking. They finally found him. In true Michael Cummins fashion, he attempted to attack the police as well.
Of course.
But all he got was a couple of shots to the leg, disabled, and cuffs.
If I had a chance to take him out, I would pop a kneecap or something just so he'd know that wound. I feel like he should have been in an institution. Like, he was past the point. I really feel like he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
He didn't. When you look at the pictures, especially the ones of the courtroom and him, you can tell there's just not something right with him.
Yeah, he was like rocking a lot and like in his trial.
Very anxious, which I mean, kind of has a reason to be.
Yeah,
could get the death penalty.
Right. Yeah, that was on the table.
Yeah,
right.
It was definitely on the table. They were going to set him to trial in 2020, but obviously, we all know what happened in 2020.
Same thing that happened to every case in 2020.
They got pushed out because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you guys forgot about having to shelter in place for forever.
No, I never will forget potty training my daughter during COVID.
Right. But it was pushed back. He was actually mentally evaluated again before they came back for the case. They wanted to make sure he was mentally deemed fit to stand trial just because the death penalty was on the table.
Yeah. So was he?
He was finally declared mentally fit in 2022.
Okay. How?
Through different mental evaluations through the court system. They
How
had
did
several.
He decide this?
Well, it was part of his defense. So they wanted him to do all kinds of mental evaluations to show them that he's crazy.
Yeah.
Insanity.
So was he? Did they deem him?
They deemed him fit to stand trial. So. Yeah.
Why? Just don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, but you got to be crazy to be out here killing people.
Once again,
it's a predicament. It's kind of a catch-22, honestly.
Right. Good.
The courts worked out a plea deal with him, actually. He would get life in prison without the possibility of parole for pleading guilty on all 8 counts.
Now, Cummins was sentenced to 8 life sentences without parole on 8 charges of first-degree murder, 25 years for attempted first-degree murder, 10 years for vehicle theft, and 11 months and 29 days for a misdemeanor theft.
That's kind of gratifying, though, when you think about it, because he did plead guilty. He was like, yeah, I did this.
He accepted responsibility for it.
You know, good on him, at least for that, and taking responsibility. I mean, hell, that's better than most criminals. He must have been insane to actually, because, they're all innocent in there.
And in most cases where it's especially violent, they'll talk with the other victims of the crime, the family, and see if they actually like the deal that they're working out, if they think that it's okay.
That's good.
And that is good. I feel like that's just what's right.
Yeah.
And they all agreed that he should serve life in prison.
Yeah, good.
One of the main reasons he didn't get the death penalty was because if you look at all the different cases where you have the death penalty, you'll notice that they're very long and drawn out. Yeah. There are a lot of appeals, like a lot of stays of execution. Right. Yeah, Krista, how many years has she been? She's like 20 years.
Krista has been on death row now for like 30 freaking years or some shit. She's been in there forever, appealing, and she's
getting
finally
getting stays. I think this is the last time, the past time.
She's done.
She's done.
She has no appeals left.
Yeah.
She's done for. She's
we might see Krista get fried soon. Who knows? A lot of people kind of want to see her fry. But just their opinion, not mine necessarily.
I want them to literally just be put away where they cannot harm anybody ever again.
I don't see any point in frying them. It's the easy way out.
This guy especially, like, he needs meds, he needs mental help, he needs some kind of guidance, it seems. Like, some real rehabilitation.
Yeah, but
even if he's got to spend his life in there, at least he can try to make himself a little better. You would think.
Might as well go ahead and adjust the life in there if you're going to be in there for life. Everybody wanted the trial to be over with. They didn't want to deal with it. It was something that they had brought up over and over again in their minds. Yeah. And imagine Cummins family, they lost.
Yeah. Yeah, they lost like most of their family.
Yeah, most of their family.
That's tragic.
Brian Cummings, which was David Cummings' brother, said that he actually saw him that day when the murders happened. Yeah. He actually stopped by his house, and it was weird. He was wearing some girl's shoes and needed another pair of shoes.
Oh, I got an idea. So he was wearing girl's shoes to try to be undetected or something, right? Like if he was going to commit the murders? That's what I would think.
Yeah. It's just strange.
Yeah, he's just strange in general.
But
that was odd tidbit.
He also noted some blood on his shirt, which Michael tried to write off as mud, but Brian said, no, that's definitely dried blood.
Yeah.
Well, they thought it was strange, but he left, eventually committed the murders, obviously.
In his girl's shoes.
In his girl's shoes. But Michael Cummins is never going to see the light of day.
No, good.
One point to make, though, that I want to make sure everybody knows. They did brain scans of Michael Cummins and compared them to that of a normal person. He operates at a lower level. So, in a way, he has brain damage as well. How many cases, I'd say 9 out of 10 episodes now that we've done, the person has brain damage that are committing these heinous crimes.
Have we even done 9 episodes?
No, definitely not. But I'm just saying, like, as a statistic, like, you know. But yeah, like most all of them have had brain damage so far. Or some sort of it, you know.
I mean, how could you not?
Birth defect or somebody just smashing their head with a brick.
There was concerns about him and his sister, multiple lice infections, infestations, sort of the home didn't have electricity or running water at times. There were occasions where there wasn't a front door or there weren't doors on the inside of the home. There were allegations of abuse that were made at various times. There were allegations that his father was drinking excessively and may have been giving the children beer. There was one allegation I saw about methamphetamine being manufactured in the home. I don't believe that was founded or not investigated. But these records really document these concerns over time about what is happening in the home environment.
See that?
Right. Some people just shouldn't be parents. I mean, but then again, you could have a kid, do everything right.
And they still become Hitler.
Because once again,
Hitler was a baby at some point.
He was.
But this is a truly tragic story.
Yeah.
Truly tragic.
It is.
8 people killed senselessly when it could have been prevented if the court system had just paid attention and done their job.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
He shouldn't have been out on the streets.
No, not at all.
He should not have been. And I think that really kind of falls on the court system. This one.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah.
Rest in peace, James Dunn, and the rest of the Wholesale family. So David Cummins, Clara Cummins, Charles Wholesale, Rachel McLaughlin, her daughter Sapphire, her mother Mary Knuckles.
Oh, the baby got me. I can't
Marcia,
with the babies.
It's
Go Grandma.
Go Grandma.
Nanny.
Mary was a G. Yeah, Nanny was a G.
Nanny was a G, and she lived for like what, 2 more years or something?
2 more years like that. I mean, that's pretty good considering
she was
how much she was beaten and how bad it was.
Well, not only that, but she was already getting pretty old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 2 more years. And she probably had so many injuries from that incident that it did not help her.
Yeah. After being beaten like that, that's pretty miraculous to get another 2 years out of life. So
yeah, she got lucky on that one. But I mean, damn, she had to live without all her people for 2 years, sliced up, health problems, I'm sure.
Their kids, you know.
But go Nanny for being a G.
Yep.
She fought.
She sure did.
Or she laid there and played dead.
I would
have.
In that kind of situation,
just lay there and play dead.
Yeah, just play dead and call 911 as soon as they leave.
Yep. That's your best bet for sure. Let's end this on a positive note tonight.
I'll tell you guys something positive. We're going to do the ghost story soon.
I'm really excited about the ghost stories because I've been probing our community and people to come and write in to murdermayhem@gmail.com.
Getting in a lot of stories from a lot of different places. And let me tell you, they are some great cases that I would really love to go over with you guys.
Yeah.
And they're definitely going to be put back somewhere to where I can get to them as soon as possible.
It's almost got to the point where it's like, constant.
It's pretty hard to get everybody.
I know.
I'll say that. Eventually, I'll probably get to it.
Right. It might take us a minute. There's a queue now.
Yeah.
We talked to a lady who had a grandfather.
Yeah, grandfather
that was a serial killer. And she put on TikTok, I'm surprised nobody has even covered his story yet.
Yeah.
We got tagged in it. So we may just travel out of Tennessee and just start doing it everywhere. We already talked about it once, so why not?
Well, it's just, that's going to be a pretty good story.
Yeah, real good story. And
from somebody that's close to.
Right. And I feel like if we covered this story, nobody's covered before. We're doing some cutting edge shit.
Cutting edge shit over. You got that right.
Aw, God, you're terrible. We will see y'all next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Central Standard Time.
He doesn't look like he wants to murder me this time. We actually got it right on the first take. So,
anyways.
That's messed up. I'm gonna look at your face. Obviously, I don't know what you were doing, but I'm sure it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Do you want to murder me?
No, definitely not today.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, guys, we will see y'all next week.
Bye.